Welcome to Almost Functional Gaming. We aim to help all followers of Russ and the Allfather to improve on the tabletop. List building, tournament recaps, unit reviews, weekly council of the Fang, and other tips to help us all go from almost functional to fully functional. Please like, share, and subscribe. Also, check out our merch store and Almost Functional score tracker on Amazon.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Almost Functional 40K. Here with Aiden again, and with our special guest, Olivier.
Welcome,
Hi, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, thank you for joining us.
We are very excited to have you on. Background for everyone that doesn't know, everyone knows. Olivier is back-to-back world champions with France and almost back-to-back winner of the War Masters, which is arguably the best singles 40K there is. And we are so excited to have you on because you took Space Wolves this year.
Absolutely, I did. I took the Space Wolves. It was the first time in my 40K career I took the Space Wolves. So I was also quite excited to run them at the WTC, and quite also excited to see what Ken Workshop has done with them.
Yeah, that is amazing.
What's up, Hogfather?
Yeah, Olivier, you already got a title. You are the High Wolf.
High Wolf himself.
Yeah.
Woof.
What drew you to Space Wolves this year?
Well, I'm always always attracted to what is new, because people do not get always the time to have reps or quality reps into it, and I'm not that a great player on the table. So don't get me wrong, I'm a good player on the table. where I'm the best is thinking out of the box, building things that people do not get, and making them discover it for the first time on the table, and that gives me an edge. So in the good player or great player big picture, that is where my strength is. So I'm trying to abuse it more than executing to the perfection something that is already known. So that's what took me to the Space Wolf at first, and I was primarily on the Beast Slayer detachment because I find it very useful, very has enough muscle with the lethal, and you could do what I call a John Lennon style list. Like, you win, you are on the 12 to 13 track win, and you dare your opponent to push into you not accepting your win, and if he doesn't, you get a 20 or an 18. If he does, you get your 12. That is typically John's style. That is not really my style at first.
Okay.
That's the first list I was on. I had to tweak it a bit because the meta with the IK and CK cam.
Yes. How fun was it using the pre-nerf Iron Priest? Because we never got to take that to events.
So sad. We are crying over here.
It was quite fun to see people realizing they had done the math, or they had done that, they knew it was crazy, but not quite true on how crazy it was.
Yes,
especially with the reroll of the damage of the of the Annihilator Predator, and sometimes people would think that it was you would be high rolling and you would just be average rolling.
Yes.
And they would not realize that. So you can, if you high roll, you will 100-0 a CK without a rotate ion shield. That is some high roll, like small high roll, only small.
Yeah.
And they would not realize that, because when you reroll wounds or reroll damage, average damage of every failed save is 5.5 wounds, and you have 8 of those. And you can oath of moment, or you can +1 to hit with incurses, or you can both.
Yep. Yeah, that reroll is so big in stopping your damage dropping.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So
yeah. Well, without further ado, I've got your list here. I don't know if Matt, I can pull it up, but let's talk about
go ahead.
What you brought to the WTC and the War Masters this year. So I'll pull this up right here for everyone to see. I'll just walk through it, but
Mm-hmm.
then maybe you can talk about some of the decisions that went into it. Start out with Gladius. You mentioned Beast Slayer, but you ended up going with Gladius.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Yeah,
about
definitely. When you'll see, I've brought a large amount of artillery, so vehicle. So when I started to tweak the list, like 2 to 3 weeks before WTC, because of the IKCK meta, we did not have any or not enough resources to counter them in their defense position. We wanted to bring them out of the defense position, because without the open table of WTC, IK and CK would not perform the same.
Mhm.
And I had to bring more anti-tank muscle.
Right.
So Gladius was kind of obvious, because if you are taking like 800 points of vehicle and shooting, you want to advance and shoot and fall back and shoot with them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, that makes sense. And then it also just helps out in general. It's just an all-around detachment. I noticed, and we'll talk about this in your list, the first entry is Arjak, and he usually pairs with 10 Wolfguard Terminators, not 5, a full 10.
No. Yeah. Why would you like accept 5 when you can have 10?
Man.
Yeah, I've been running in with 10, and yeah, it's fun.
It is very fun to get the full extent of the stratagem, or the resource you're going to inject into this unit. You have to get large amount. The larger the unit, the biggest the income from abilities or strat. Arjak has a fight on this on 4 up. So if you're only throwing 5 dice because you have 5 Terminators, only 2 or 3 are gonna hit. If you have a 10-man, you're gonna have 5 Terminators average that are gonna hit on death. That is not the same threat to the opponent. Then in Gladius, you have AOC, or you also have +1 to wound, or you also have adaptive strategy. When you burn a CP to use that on a unit, the bigger the unit, the bigger the CP efficiency.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It's almost like you think about Imperial Knights doing rotate ion shields on a 400-point knight. You're getting so
That is
much
true.
efficiency out of that
Yeah.
one command point.
Yeah, or ignore cover for your Chaos Knight on
Yeah.
36 shots of Gatling that are
Exactly.
sustained or lethal. Okay,
Exactly.
so a lot of value. Same goes for same reasoning goes for the blob of 20
Blood
blood
Claw.
flow,
Yeah.
because in Gladius you get +1 to wound, but also +1 AP. And when you get +1 AP on swords that are AP1 only, you change dramatically the attrition profile of the blob. You
Right.
get so you wound at least at worst on 5 reroll, so 55%, and you are AP2. So now you have 80 attacks, hitting on 3's reroll, winning on 5's reroll or 4 reroll, AP2. You will destroy anything you touch.
That's kind of incredible. Let me just quickly run this over because I'm just curious about every aspect of it. So you have triple Iron Priests, which we know are very solid before the nerf. Lieutenant with combi weapon just to go skirmish to add reroll ones. Fantastic. Logan's wonderful. We can include him in almost every one of our detachments.
Alone. Logan, alone.
Yes, incredible.
Yeah,
Ragnar with the 20 blood claws. We have 5 intercessors. We have how many holes? 2 ballistas. We have 1, 2, 3 predators, and cursors to get +1 to hit. And then, like we talked about, that 10-man Wolfguard Terminator squad. So, wow, this list packs a punch.
Yeah.
So that's something I want to touch on. Logan alone. Tell me why you run him alone. What's the benefit of that?
Yeah, you get a leader
Yeah.
that has no leader ability.
Mhm.
So that's first. Then also, he has a large base and it's very high, so very difficult to hide. So if he leads, then suddenly an infantry that is able to hide on small rune is not. So the pack you lead suffers from how big he is, and then his attrition profile, it's not that big, so it could be a reason to have a I have bodyguards around him. Like he smashes really hard, like Arjak does. So Arjak in 5 makes sense. I prefer Arjak in 10, but Arjak in 5 makes sense because he's a beast in close combat, and having buddies to protect him in order for him to deliver the swing makes sense. And if you don't have the budget for 10, 5 makes sense. But that's not the case for Logan. Most of his value comes from the Vector Aura and the Deep Strike turn 1. Then you want to have the Deep Strike, the Vector Aura, on a very specific position on the board. And it's not going to be, most of the time, the same position where you want to have 5 Wolfguard Terminator operating. And also, to be very transparent, most of the time, and actually all the time in WTC and War Master, the Terminator were on the board, and Logan was in Strat Reserve. So it was the only one to arrive turn 1. And then you have a Logan that is able to turn 1 position a Vector Array where you want to have it, or take a spot that is a problem for the opponent, because 8 wounds, 2 up, 4 up invul is not something that you can kill with chaff units. And you can like arrive turn 1, do engage on all front, or do cleanse even on the heavy side of the board. And that has more value. It's only 110 points. You could also, in Beast Layer, use it as a Calidus, because you can up and down with him. So when he's alone, you get up and down, and you get where you were, as long as you Deep Strike a 9. Because even if you can arrive everywhere you want, if you want to be able to up and down, you have to be within 9. So that's why I think he should be played alone.
Wow, that is fascinating. I was curious about your decision to start that 10-mana Terminators on the board. I watched a couple of your games, and it seems like you just put them right in the middle with Arjak, and you just ran them up the board as fast as possible.
That is also because I'm playing Gladius. If you play Gladius, you can advance and charge, and you already move 6. You have an anvil on the board, or in your list, and you want your anvil to be in the center of the map.
Right.
You don't want it to be. It has a quite low attrition profile. So the main value comes out of the bodies. 4 up invul, -1 to wound, 4 wounds. So that is quite obvious to me that main value comes from the bodies instead of attrition profile, because otherwise it's only like Blade Guard's attrition profile,
right?
Which is kind of a low. So Arjak does the work for the attrition, and they do the work for the resilience. So that's why I think they are better on the board, which is kind of a bit different when you don't have AOC in your strat kit.
Yeah.
Because then the resilience is dramatically different.
Yes.
Also, the attrition is better, but the tactical use also is lower, because you can just be engaged, like bump on the side of the blob, and then you cannot fall back and charge, or fall back and shoot. So like a quarter of your army has been just cancelled by a Rhino. That is also why I gave up Beast Slayer.
No fallback and charge.
Yeah. I find the same thing. I was playing World Champions of Fenris just when I was playing with Detachment. I was running 10 with Arjak, played Crusher Stampede, and I got stuck in with the Tyrannifex and couldn't leave. And so I switched to Gladius for the fight on death and the fallback and charge are the main reasons I switched over.
Absolutely.
Another thing that I'm curious about, Ragnar and 20 Blood Claws. This is a pick that I think some people have been saying is amazing, and other people, including myself, are questioning. This is 20 Marines. Yes, they're cheap, but they're just kind of Marines with chainswords. It sounds like you use them really well.
Yeah. So same reason. First, same reason as the 10 men. You have a leader that gives reroll wounds, which is very powerful as an attrition energy. So if you get, like, instead of 40 attacks, 80 attacks, reroll wounds, you get a resource to get +1 to wound. It's also true in Beast Slayer, because in Beast Slayer we'll have the lethal reroll hits lethal, +1 to wound, reroll wounds, which is very nice. And also, you will have the strat that allows you to follow your opponent with a 6-inch react move into
Ooh.
Surge.
Yes.
But it is a lot of CP,
Mhm.
but still kind of annoying for let's say if you're playing against a gun line or a shooting army. But in Gladius, not only you have the +1 to wound, reroll wound, you also have the +1 AP. So
Huge.
basically, 80 attacks, AP2. So this blob will on off anything like an Atropos on 6-up Feel No Pain, the Silent King, a blob of 10 Terminators. It will on off everything.
Wow.
That is the attrition, but it is not the only thing which is interesting. So if you combine that with the fight on death, it means that in the meta, you will on off any Necron with warrior or race with that kind of volume, because Necron fear the one activation, high intensity, high volume attrition.
Right.
So Necron you deal with. Then also big, we said big profile like IK and CK you deal with, and you have Logan inside. No, not Logan. Ragnar. Then he's 10 attacks, 6 -3 or -4 in Gladius. +1 to wound, reroll wounds, also a beast sustain. But it also gives you agency to do magic tricks on the board. Because you have a 20-man blob, you can really adapt your microgestion to slingshot or to leash. So hold your 20-man pack by coherency to control charges, or like charge a piece on the left side of the board and contest on the center, or charge on the left side and swing on the center.
Wow.
Canceling fight first, canceling heroic intervention. So maybe if you have seen how I've used them against Thomas Vobak in the single, I advanced in charge turn 1, so he was playing Warhost. He had set up an heroic intervention trap with the Banshees, and I have no other way to unlock this position than accepting the heroic intervention of the Banshees. But then I was like able to turn 1, project this problem into his deployment zone, killing 1 unit that are charged, swinging into a second unit that was holding one of the points on the opposite side, and killing the Banshees. So canceling this problem that was locking the DZ position.
Wow.
They died after that, of course, but they had been very useful.
That is incredible. That is incredible.
And if you have like smaller blobs, then you cannot have the same agency to dilate and swing into different position at the same time.
Yes.
And
It's also, you're putting 41 OC for not that crazy points. So the knights that have 10, 16 OC on a point, you can contest.
Absolutely, yeah.
And do you think that works as well on like GW as WTC? That big blob being able to, like, they might not be as easy to hide.
That is a fair question. In WTC, it is kind of easy to hide behind like a big rune. It's going to be very different in Game Workshop layout, but you can use them kind of the same way if you, for example, rapid ingress them. Because in my opinion, that the brick of 10 Terminators should be on the board, no matter the layout. Then you have all agency to rapid ingress this 20-man blob that is going to advance in charge no matter what detachment you're playing. So it is kind of high velocity, and you starting from a side of the board, which is fine. When you have 20 men, you can slingshot very high. So you move 7 in the direction of the center, advance, and then charge. So approximately you're going to move 7 plus 10, so 17 towards the center. Then, so that's after the charge, and then you're going to slingshot pile-in consolidation 6 more. So even if you start from the side, you're going to be all over the board after your charge.
Wow.
Good thing I primed 20 blood claws last week. Now I
Yeah.
got
But also playing them in a transport is also fair. I've seen like Kruker from Poland play play them inside a repulsor,
Yeah.
also giving them 3 inches extra 3 inches to project themselves.
Yeah.
And I think it's also a fair way on open table to play them. Also, as you said, they are Marines, so if you buy like 135 points of extra wounds, that is the 11th to 10 to 20th men, and you get some dead by you getting shot at, that is still fine, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But if they shoot into a 10 men, then Ragnar is very, very quickly butt naked.
Wow.
And Ragnar is very important in this list.
Yeah. I mean, reroll wounds just all the time, full flat, is a hell of a buff.
Yeah, and AP3.
Yes.
If your opponent doesn't have an invo, goes right through it.
Wow. This brings me to a question I've had for you. Last year, you revolutionized the scene at the WTC and War Masters by bringing, what was it, like 120 Marine bodies in Black Templar. Now I'm curious. Yeah. I'm very curious with how cheap Blood Claws are. Do you think there is a similar build for Space Wolves?
No, I don't. That's the first thing I've tried. As you should think. I've tried the Blue Tide, like Wolf Tide.
Wow.
But
what was the difference?
Difference is first of all, the list I've played last year has been like quite killed by power creep. So now, if you want to play the same style, you need to have surge move. So like the Berserker list we brought to the WTC this year, or what new Black Templar Codex will allow with Crusader Blob. So D6 plus 2 surge move. That is important. So if you're only playing regular Marines running at you, they have no special weapon, so you cannot like have a very highly concentrated attrition into 4 to 5 bodies among the 20. That is not the case for Blood Claws. Then you do not have surge in build, which means you cannot just run at the opponent and say, okay, I'm going to lose some Marines, but you're going to have one activation into me, and then I'm going to be swinging into you. That you cannot. You can only say that for one of the blob in Beast Layer for 1 CP, and you are still just a Marines without OC. So in the meta, you have kind of a lot of models that can, in one activation, obliterate the pack, like Magnus, ACK. If you have a Forge Fiend, it's going to be only 10 dead. If you have a OC, if you don't have, it's going to be maybe 12 to 15. So with the Wolves, I would say, I'm not saying it cannot work, but I'm saying you have better things to do. If you want to play that, just play Black Templar. Now, the new codex gives the D6 plus 2 surge move. It's very pleasant to play. You're going to be very happy. But in space, or play Berserkers in Word Eater. If you want to play Space Wolf, you have better things to do than that, in my opinion.
Wow. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, Marines are fantastic when you can't shoot them because they're surging into you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my follow-up question is, this list has 3 Iron Priests and 3 Predators and 2 Ballistics, so a total of 5 hulls, which is incredible. It's a lot of shooting, especially with the pre-nerf Iron Priest. However, as you know, we did not get to play with that. So I'm curious, where do you think this list goes after the Iron Priest nerf?
I think it is still there. You just do not play Iron Priest anymore. You take like the 180 points from the Iron Priest and you play more hulls.
Okay.
And that's it. maybe if you want, you can take Tech Marine instead, but I would just take raw power and raw and a lancer. For this amount of points, you can take a lancer. You can also like try to find some more points, and you get 2 more predators. Because we said, yeah. So you could add some raw shooting. It is mainly about, do you need this amount of anti-tank, anti-vehicle in the new meta post MFM?
That's a good question.
I would say, in my opinion, Chaos Knight are still gonna be there because they only lost a War Dog, so you can still have the triple double Gatling despoiler, which is insane. IK, not sure, because they took kind of a toll from them. They were not that in Game Workshop layout. They will still be deadly for sure, but I think the meta is gonna unequipped progressively with the anti-tank, anti-vehicle profile, because the Death Guard hammer is not the same as it used to be, and CK and IK are gonna be less dominant, and you're gonna have to deal with very dominant lists like Blood Templar, Black Tide Crusaders, and it's definitely not the same weapon to kill a Crusader Tide as you
As
need
is
for
Knights.
Yeah.
So the meta is going to balance a bit. So I would say this list still exists if you need that kind of tool, but in my opinion, the core of the list is the 2 blobs in Gladius, and then you can adapt if you are more in need of dealing with the infantry. You're going to unequip with the hull. You're going to keep maybe the ballistas because they are very interesting in these detachment, and very cheap, very nice opener. And you're going to have like more cavalry, maybe some Wolfen with axe that are very autonomous because they are sustain and reroll wounds to hit. So they are oath agnostic.
Yeah.
And you're gonna just add more chaff unit that has impact on attrition, and this will help you play Warhammer, because this list does not play Warhammer really well. It is a team list that needs a bit of pairing resources to operate. It is kind of a beast. Only have like 1 unit in the back lane with the Stikobj, 1 unit that will scout and open the game, that is the Incursors, 1 lieutenant that is going to try to move back and forth to the center and try to harass the opponent with any action they would need, and that's it. The rest is only muscle.
Yeah.
And it will not be dominant in singles, and it would not be dominant in Game Workshop layout.
Wow. Fascinating list. I mean, we were very curious about it.
Yeah. So we got a couple questions from chat over here. Let's see if I can bring this up. We got Justin wants to know why no Wolfen in this list.
That is a good question. That, as I said, I had Wolfen in the first version of the list when I did not have a purpose of chasing any knights. We would cross in the pairing. Wolfen with axe, they do not deal well with knights. And Wolfen with shield, even if the profile says they deal well with vehicle, problem with knights is you have to be able to attack them on the table choice, which is kind of the problem you are dealing with on mainly all the Game Workshop layouts, like too open for the knight not to be dominant. So even if the attrition profile says, okay, it is meant to hit a vehicle, if you are dead before you hit the vehicle, then dead men don't score, dead men don't kill. Okay.
Yeah.
And that is the problem with the Wolfen against the Knights. They are toughness 6, which is perfect to hit into it. Only save 4 up. So they were not good tools to deal with Knights. To deal with Knights, you have to have two main strengths. First, you have to get a mean to cancel their main strengths, which is movement plus towering, which both of them conjugated gives them a high agency to get any line of sight and destroy you. So if you can cancel that, like engage them. So if you engage them, they don't move and shoot. So you cancel this agency, or they fall back and they do not shoot, which is also fine. So if you don't have a mean to cancel this agency one turn, you will lose. And if you have that, that kind of mean is rapid ingress, a pack of Terminator, even better, rapid ingress, a transport, because you're gonna have rapid ingress transport and the content of the transport, which is like, let's say, a Rhino with Plague Marines. Then the Rhino is going to move 12, engage a Crusader or a Despoiler, and that is behind, and the Plague Marine are going to kill the CK that is in front of him. So that's the first strength you need. The second strength is enough muscle to bring them down in shooting and in close combat.
Right.
And Wolfen are not contributing to that. So I had the Terminators in reserve. That is the only exception when I was playing IK and CK. The 20-man pack blob hidden behind a wall, making sure the IK or CK was respecting me and would not be able to rush me, and the vehicle either in reserve or well hidden in my deployment zone, so that I was waiting until the second turn to rapid ingress into advance and charge and just touch down. So you are the stealer now. So you are the cat. I don't know how do you call that in USA, this toddler game. So touched. So you are the cat and you don't move now. So the Terminators would not do a lot of damage on the IK or CK, but in the same term, I would have advance and charge with the 20-man blob, killing a CK, advance into position with the vehicle in order not to be seen by the IK or CK that was unable to move, so that the next turn, the following turn, I would be able to advance and shoot in Devastator and kill everyone.
Wow. Yeah. That's fascinating. So it sounds like the Terminator blob wasn't necessarily there to kill things alone.
No, catch.
Yes.
Catch things.
Get in people's faces, touch.
Tackle things. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we have another question. No Bjorn, the fell-handed.
Yeah. So Bjorn was in my first iteration of the list. He's kind of expensive, 170 points, but has a lot of value. So I would play Bjorn in any single Space Wolf list. It was like heartbreaking not to take into this list, but this very specific list did not need a lot of CP. So as I was not in need of a lot of CP in my specific role, which was IK and CK hunting, because I was about to just not play turn 1 and maybe turn 2. So canceling a lot of cards and getting a lot of CP out of that. In that very specific situation, I did not take Bjorn. But anytime, if you take like a Gladius, you are very, very heavy CP consumer. So take Bjorn. And if you are taking Beast Slayer, then you also need CPs to up and down, and to up and down, for example, with Bjorn, which is amazing. And maybe in this kind of situation, you will still have a Iron Priest to heal Bjorn, because you will give Lone Up, and having an Iron Priest that follows Bjorn is always nice, because high value on the wounds of this body, -1 to wound, 2 up save, 5 up feel no pain. So keep one, and then you have 2 shots of damage 5, which is also
Wow.
funny. So I would keep that. Yeah.
That is incredible, Olivia. I never would have heard you say take Bjorn and Iron Priest together, but it makes sense. They really buff each other so well. That is fascinating.
Yeah. And also the up and down. So if you want to abuse the up and down Beast Slayer, both of them will most of the time be on your heavy side. So the side that you hold the best, and they will be waiting with Wooly within 9 for an up and down opportunity. So as the Iron Fist do not have that much value into boosting the attrition anymore, you will easily spend 1 CP to up and down him just in case you get like a behind enemy line and locus, or a weird charge on a home objective. And then turn 4, turn 5, you're going to up and down Bjorn and do the same and take your chance onto a 9 in charge or double flamer 10 cultists that are on an objective. That is very useful. So you will have like early game use with your CP farming and ability to hold the point, and late game value out of this repositioning.
Wow. That is fascinating. Yeah. Bjorn has been growing. I mean, Matt's created a video about how Bjorn is instrumental to Space Wolf lists now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just the flexibility he gives you with secondary cards, I find, is amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. So the CP resource has a high value in this version, and if you with the new card, new challenger card, it has less value on the first and the second turn because you do not want to burst your secondary scoring first turn. Otherwise, you're going to give agency for the opponent to get a challenger card. But after that, and in any close combat matchup, CP management is the key. So having that prevents you from being checkmate by a Calidus or a Vectora.
Yeah, absolutely. Another question from chat: how would you approach building a singles list? We were talking about that, but the detachments, I would like to get into detachments. You obviously took Gladius for this event, but I'm curious your thoughts on where we sit for Space Wolves as far as detachments and how well we synergize with them.
I would say there's 3 detachments at the moment that are good candidates for hosting the Space Wolf. First one is the Codex, so Beast Slayer, which is a very nice one. It's the harder to play, the hardest.
Really?
Because in my opinion, the lowest the tactical tool you have, the hardest it is to play. So if you can advance in charge, fall back in charge, Gladius or Stormlance, if you can auto advance 9, then you have a lot of agency to do amazing plays, but also to correct bad plays.
Mistakes.
Most of the time it is to correct mistakes. If you don't, you cannot advance in charge, you cannot fall back in charge, then it is very demanding to play perfectly. That is also why the Black Templar list I played last year did not have a high results after WTC.
Wow.
It's because it has no fallback in charge, it has no shooting, so it has no advance in charge. So it is so every unit needed to be highly connected, even during the opponent turn. So almost all the time in heroic intervention position. In this Beast Slayer detachment, you will have to compose with the absence of tactical utility, so fallback in charge. Also, the absence of extended resilience, like no AOC.
Right.
But on the other side, you could play a formidable multiple small unit that is able to cross terrain with the cavalry, that is able to deep strike or to deep strike turn 1 with Logan, that is able to do a lot of things, and that will have value. But I would say we need the Death Guard hammer and the IKCK to tone down before this kind of a very pleasant gameplay to emerge in the competition.
Yeah, absolutely. So it sounds like Gladius and Stormlance are the easiest, but as far as sagas go, like if you had to pick a saga to run out of the book, it sounds like you're leaning Beast Slayer, but it's still hard to play.
Okay, so within the book, I would say Beast Slayer, but outside the book, I would say Stormlands, which is not a saga, sorry, but which gives you a lot of agency and a lot of value to the cavalry. And at the moment, I would say it is able to play in most of what the meta is going to bring to you. So even if, especially if you conjugate it with Bjorn, that will give you the extra CP you need to abuse the stratagem that is most of the time too expensive to be used, which is the auto advanced 9.
Wow.
Then now you've got like 2 more inches of movement with the cavalry. There were 10. There used to be 10. Now they're 12. So 12 plus 9 is now 21. So even if you're not crossing the wall, moving 21 before charging is kind of fast, man.
It is crazy. Yes.
It's kind of fast.
Wild.
So and then when you have projected that in your opponent's face, you can activate the -1 hit, -1 damage for 1 CP. So you've lost the surge move that you used to have, but you still have a lot of agency, a lot of attrition to throw to your opponent's face. So I would say Stormlands is the easiest to play, the most versatile, especially in Game Workshop layout, because in the Game Workshop layout you can cross most of the terrain with cavalry. So it is even faster if you can go direct line. So I would go for, if I had to play like in Atlanta, like tomorrow in the WCW with Space Wolf, I would go for
Stormlands. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Wow. That is fascinating. But I saw you did not include, this was another question, no Thunderwolf Cavalry in your list. And I think I have a reason for this choice, is that you were specifically hunting Knights and Death Guard. And Cavalry don't necessarily do the best in the Knights and Death Guard. They need the lance, even though they're running on 5s. It's not great. Knights and Death Guard have enough damage too to pick up wolves. Like, I'm seeing that the Thunderwolf Cavalry in that.
It's also same reason for the wolf. It's also hard to hide, and it's nice target for the thing they would be supposed to kill. So if you get three Thunderwolf Cavalry in Beast Slayer into a Knight, if you have enough CP to grenade and +1 to wound, it's still 15 wounds into a Knight.
Yeah.
And which is fine for 100 points. Very fine. But then you do not get to swing into them because they see you before and they shoot you. That to be fair, this IK and CK meta, in my opinion, is a bit cringe and is supposed to turn down quite quickly. So I hope the fix Game Workshop brought would be enough. I think it would be enough in Europe for WTC terrain. I'm not sure it's going to be enough for Game Workshop terrain.
Right.
I hope it will. But before that, it excludes a lot of things out of the meta and a lot of very nice unit or very multiple small unit. So Cavalry by 3, in my opinion, they are amazing in Beast Slayer because they can like Deep Strike turn 1 or Reserve turn 1 and then cross small runes. So this is more for us because we have a lot of runes on the table.
Right.
But still, it's only 100 points that can Deep Strike turn 1 and then just move 12 and turn 2 and aggress. And then it's not easy to take down because 12 wounds. Of the 6 4-up invul, still a problem. And grenade keyword, very nice.
Is very
So,
nice.
very
Yep.
Yeah,
nice.
because we are
So,
limited. We are limited on the grenade keyword in that book.
absolutely. So I would say my go-to would be use the cavalry as an opener. They are very nice opener by
Yes.
3. Very nice opener. So as an opener on the objective that would be in the open, so not hidden. And so on your side, when you cannot hold it by with the alone up, or just send them, and it's gonna be hard to take them down. So they're gonna have to put real resources, shooting resources, to take it down. And then you're gonna have like revenge loss on what took the cavalry down. So
Right.
nice opener on
Yep.
the open side. And on the closed side, I would go for Bjorn. That is preceded by Wolfen with axe, because Wolfen with axe will
Whoa.
go. They move a lot. They are oath agnostic, so they are very self-sufficient.
Mhm.
They have high attrition, and if you think you're gonna miss the target and get out OC because they are OC 0, as Bjorn is mid-board hidden for next wave, you could also just string up to 6-inch to
Get
Bjorn
OC
and
from
get the
Bjorn.
OC. If
Wow.
for example, if your target is Void River, you might, let's say you might miss Void River, and you want to not a good example. Void River you kill, but if something is low OC like a vehicle, and you and you're not sure, like a Rhino 2 OC or a Nastra Meter Room Walker, you're not sure you're gonna get through it, then just swing into it with the string and you get still 2 OC, and you are sure you're gonna score Storm Hostile and extend battle line. So
Wow.
no risk taken there.
That's another fascinating thing. I feel like just Axe Wolfen without the shields have been totally overlooked as a data sheet, because the shield Wolfen have a 4-up invul and their anti-monster vehicle 3-up. People have not been running or talking about Axe Wolfen.
Oh yeah, that is a mistake, because the shield have, I do not see the tactical use of the shield except in Beast Slayer, because you can run them by 10 with the leader and surge. So then the body, the resilience, so toughness 6 and 4-up invul is relevant. So is they going to resist, and then they're going to surge. So that is relevant. Otherwise, you only have 2 attacks. So it is very, and you have no sustain and no reroll once that you could get from the leader. So you could definitely miss the target.
Wow.
Definitely. No, not enough volume. And then you just a Marines toughness 6. No, you don't have it, the 6-up feel no pain, so you will not break the attrition sequence.
Right.
You're gonna die.
Yeah. Yeah. They do die in that my experience.
And you do same goes for the axe, but they are much cheaper, and they are oath agnostic.
And they have sustained extra attack. They're just better into everything that's not a vehicle.
Reroll once.
Yeah. Wow. And then the one thing I've not heard you mention, we have not talked about at all from Space Wolves, that everyone has been running Headtakers. I've been running attachments that don't really buff them all that well. So I don't really know. I haven't been including them in my lists, but I'm curious what your thoughts are on Headtakers.
This is definitely a frustration for me. The Headtaker, in my opinion, the model are amazing, but the game design of the data sheet is not there. You are inventing like Space Wolf Blade Guard.
Yes.
Fine. I love Blade Guard. I've run 18 Blade Guard in the BFS with StatCheck this year. I love them. And then you say, okay, so you're going to choose a target, and they are going to be dev wound and precision against the target. But then the opponent just has to remove the target or take the target on the other flank, and you don't have any ability. And this ability is to be compared with the reroll ones to hit, so oath agnostic blade guard, and they are more expensive. So the dogs, don't get me wrong, they're great. It's a very nice way in Space Marine to get the number of units climbing,
Screening,
screening,
actions.
action monkey, etc., or even close combat tricks. So like taking attrition out of the equation because they are preventing paladin. They are amazing.
Yes.
But the Headtaker are expensive. I would consider playing them with the double attacks because then you can play three men with 18 attacks, which is interesting. But then you compare them with the Wolfen, and you go for the Wolfen. So then you say, okay, so I go for the Wolfen. So what about the shields? Okay, the shields, why not? But then you need the oath to be efficient. You need the number to have enough strengths.
Right.
And you are not very fast. Your ability is not there. So I'm quite disappointed into this data sheet, to be fair.
Oh my gosh, Olivier, you're going to get some hate for that. People are going to be flaming you in the chat because
sorry. Yeah, I love the models, and I know I am in a Space Wolf lover channel, but I don't get me wrong, I think they deserve better. So Game Workshop game design on the Headtaker is a missed target, in my opinion.
Yeah. I was running them when I first started, but I've stopped bringing them because they underwhelmed me every time I brought them.
Yeah, so. and their durability, they're just Marines with 3 wounds. So any plasma, any strength 8, any bolters.
Yeah, exactly. So see I would say that 3 wounds and 4 up invul is interesting as an attrition because you don't have that in Marines. But 160 points for Blade Guards. Take Blade Guards, and they're going to reroll once to save in close combat if they get engaged in close combat. So that is the problem. And I love the leader. So the Wolf Guard battle leader.
Yes.
This one is amazing. So
yes,
you could decide to play 3 shield with this one as an opener. It's not that expensive. Problem is, on a tactical level, you are offering 2 points of overwhelming force, assassination, 4 points of
no prisoners.
Prisoner. So it is not efficient on the opening strategy regarding the secondaries.
Wow.
So it is a miss, in my opinion. It is a miss.
Yeah. Oh, they're close though. They're very close.
They're very close. Kruger played them. Kruger played 6 of them without the shield, but with the leader that had the helmet that gives the permanent AOC against vehicle, monster, and character. And not unit, but model. And this is weird to me because if you want to give durability to your pack, go for the Invo.
Yeah.
It is the only one to have played that. Just with some success, to be fair, because it's the first.
Yeah, he did pretty well. He was like 5-0-1 at Worlds. So
absolutely. So I have to respect the performance, but I still don't validate the choice.
Yeah, I think they need to make them the same points as Blade Guard and let you choose your quarry every fight phase.
Make it the same point of the Blade Guard. That's a start.
Yeah.
And then choose your quarry every fight phase. Allow them to have, so the Blade Guard was choosing in between roll ones to wound or roll ones to save. Let them choose in between precision and dev wound. They are Headtaker. So if they cross a character, they want to take the head.
Yes.
Why can't they choose to take the head? They have no character. Okay, they have special martial art ability, so they're gonna have maximum AP. So dev wound, they're gonna choose dev wound. It makes sense. So on the Blade Guard that are following the Codex, Gulliman, it's a very disciplined. You can just augment your resilience or boost your attrition, and you are a Space Marine vanilla, that's fine. You're a Space Wolf, you want to kill. You
Go
want to
for the
go
head.
throat. Go for the
Yes.
head. Go for the throat.
Yes.
So please choose in between those two. What? So that's why I said game design here is fluid.
Oh, wow. We've always had a feeling, but it seems like as we play games with Headtakers, they've done well in some games. They do well for the people, but I find like they're missing that little bit to make them included in every list. And then compare them to 170 points to 5 Wolfguard Terminators. The durability is way higher, and the damage is not that much lower. You've got a 3 damage weapon. You can attach a character that RJack does really well. I just would rather take 5 Terminators than
and the Terminator survivability shoots through the roof compared to the Headtakers.
Exactly.
Absolutely, yeah.
Wow. So you got to the semifinals of War Masters. Congrats on that. I heard you could have gotten to the finals, but you had to drop.
Yeah, I had to drop because we had a very important meeting concerning the future of WTC.
Whoa.
And it was the captain meeting, and I was one of the captain that worked on this future of WTC as member of what we call the CAG, the Captain Advisory Group.
Yeah.
And we were only 2 to 3 captains from this CAG in this meeting. So John Lennon, and Sammy from Sweden. And I didn't want to leave those 2 friends alone
Right.
in this meeting.
Yeah.
So I dropped. To be fair, I think I would have had a very disputed match with Alban LBS, the French War Master winner. That I was supposed to play, Death Guard player. We've done the matchup several times and went to win, in between win to lose. Wow. So it would have been a nice matchup. I'm not sure I could have been able to get Ines and his GSC.
GSC, the 100 and something GSC list.
Not sure.
Wow.
Not sure.
Yeah,
I would have played that, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, because you had your teams list that was built to kill Knight, so you were missing the Horde killing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Actually, the 20 men killed hordes, but I was missing the tools to. Yeah, but I was missing the tool to gap close, or to when you give GSC 400 or 500 point targets, they love that because they just team strike. And they don't care about your resilience profile. They're gonna full roll hits, crit 5, lethal, maybe sustain, and they really don't care about your toughness. And they're gonna bombard you. You have a nice save, okay? They ignore cover. They +1 AP, and they were AP1 from the start. So now you are on your invul, and even with the torchlights, fucking hell. Wow. So yeah, not sure.
Wild. Yeah. But that brings me kind of to my question. As far switching from a singles to a teams perspective, where do you think Space Wolves sit in terms of teams? Do they have good matchups in the like what are some bad matchups you found that Space Wolves have in the teams environment?
I would say it's pretty much the same you have in Space Marine overall. So Space Marine, they want to be cost efficient before they die. If you die before being able to engage yourself, then you will lose 100%. So that's why you hate Eldars and Drukeries so badly, because they are very fast and they kill you before you have been engaged into the battle. So you die before being cost efficient. If you do that for 1 to 2 units among the Space Marine unit, then it's a loss.
Yeah.
So those are bad matchups most of the time. I say that, but if you have more agency than the Eldar, most of the time the Eldar has more agency than you have. But some lists like Warhost lists are obese enough for you to get into and to win. But if they have like 90 orcs, swooping orc, then
crazy.
You're done.
Yeah.
Then you don't want to play into Drukeries. I know I've been playing on live Scary.
I saw that. That was a fantastic game.
Which
to
is a
watch.
thank you. Which is a friend, but I only won because he tried something turn one and did not see what I call the hug coming. So I killed in heroic intervention a beast pack and then advance in charge and hug a venom that had the only answer on
For that
this side of the
20-man
board.
Lilith.
Yeah, to the
Mhm.
20-man with Drazar. And with the hug, he was not able to disembark. So
Wow.
that's
Yeah.
the only reason I won. Otherwise, the matchup is for him. And then I would say Death Guard is a fair match.
Right.
It is skill based, especially now they have 200 points less. So
Yes.
like it.
Now it's actually fair.
Now it's actually
Two
fair.
less tanks.
You don't want to be so where you're good is like multiple small units. So I've played a very specific Space Wolf list, quite obese, but where the Space Wolf are good is on the multiple small units, very resilient and very autonomous, like the cavalry,
Mhm.
the Wolfenax, and the 10-man pack with our Ragnar, and then the blob of 10 Terminators. I wouldn't touch that.
So you're sold on the 10 Terminators. You
Oh,
really
yeah.
like that
Oh
unit.
yeah, oh yeah,
Wow.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Matt,
I wouldn't touch it.
I agree with him. After running it, I wouldn't. That's one thing I wouldn't take out of my list.
Yeah. But then, so that's where you're good. And if you're facing something that has like very hard one activation unit like Berserker list or a Black Tide Crusader that could be pretty much the same as a Berserk Horde, then you're gonna have some trouble because you will need multiple activation to do your stuff, and they would interrupt during your turn, or they would just advance in charge and engage maximum unit,
Yes.
kill maximum.
Mhm.
So that you don't want. So yeah.
Wow. That is fascinating. I'm gonna have to try out this 10-man Terminator squad that you guys have both been running. I just built my second squad of 5 and I got Arjak on the way. So
Yeah.
10 men in Gladius or Stormlands.
Oh, brutal.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I know you like
Stormlands
Logan
even better because the React move 6.
It's hard to charge, hard to engage.
Hard to charge, also hard to avoid any Eric intervention. So you have so much agency.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah, I know you said you like running Logan alone, but I've been running a 10-man and a 5-man and switching which one Arjak and Logan are with based on the matchup.
Yeah.
Like infantry heavy, like melee matchups, I've been putting Logan in the 10-man so I could spend the 2 CP fight on death and then still have the fight on death on the other unit. And then against like the knights, I've been sticking against big stuff. I've been sticking Arjak with the 10-man.
Yeah, that makes sense. I would say the Logan is better most of the time in the 5-man. It gives like a bit more juice to these 5-men on the close combat because otherwise, to be fair, they are pretty deceptive on the attrition sequence. That is also why I'm not betting that much on the fight and death. Because except if you were swinging into, let's say, a CDC unit, then you're not going to do that much damage.
Right.
Or you are in Beast Slayer, and then you only have the 4 fight and death. But then with the lethal and maybe the +1 to wound, because in Beast Slayer you can trigger the +1 to wound on fight and death because it's not on an activation; it's during the turn. So only then, in my opinion, the fight and death can be very efficient.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's going to be a bit deceptive.
Yeah, I only do it into like Marine body type that are so I'm wounding on 3s, they're 2 wounds, like Berserkers, into like other Marines fighting. But yeah, I wouldn't do it into anything that's I'm wounding on 5s or 6s.
Yeah. Here's one thing that I think is still being overlooked is Saga of the Hunter. It's really easy to get +1 hit and wound really early on. You kill 3 things in melee. And then that fight on death. I mean, this is just me blowing smoke up my butt. But then fight on deaths, it has a fallback in charge. It has a 6-inch pylon consolidate.
But to be fair, that is also one of the game design flows I've spotted in these codex. You have like 2 sagas that are only targeting Space Wolf units.
Yes.
So
Mhm.
they do not buff your Space Marine vanilla units. The third one buffs everyone.
Everything all the time. Beast Slayer is
Everything.
the best song.
And the two first, they are conditional, so they have okay power before the saga and good power after the saga.
Right.
The Beast Slayer has a absolute banger power, which is like a +1 to wound in shooting and close combat for everyone on every relevant target.
It's
And
incredible.
when you complete the saga, you get to have like lethal on 2 boxes.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You get lethals
So-
all the time. Yeah.
So how asymmetric the power they've given to the saga is a bit sad, because I would have loved to have something more exciting on the hunter, but because it's like the DNA or so of the codex,
Yeah.
but it is not.
Yeah.
To be fair.
Yeah. I mean, that's what me and Matt have always been lamenting, is if we had champions of Rust still with the new codex, the ability to lands +1 AP, fallback, shoot and charge, advanced shoot and charge, plus OC, like all of those tools would have been incredible.
Yeah, I agree. Also, another thing that is mainly game design is in high level, competitive level, you don't want to engage 2 units to get 1 buff.
One in return.
That is not, especially if you were a Marines. If you were a Genestealer cult, go for it. Engage 3, 4. You're gonna die and come
Yeah.
back. You were Marines. You cannot engage 2 units to get 1 buff. That is not
Right.
possible.
Right. That's a good point.
Yeah, that was always my thing with it. It forced you to charge with your transports or always have hunting wolves tagging along. Like there was just too many loops to jump through to try to get
It
a
is,
buff.
yeah, and it is very nice on the fluff, on the lore level. Like
Yeah.
you need your dogs to attack from behind to get your +1 to hit. So yeah, it's very graphic
From
and
a
very
lore perspective.
very narrative. Yeah,
Yeah.
but not competitive.
I agree.
DJ's got a good point. Olivier has me rethinking my whole list. I mean, yeah, absolutely. Me too. So, yeah.
I'm not sure if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but I'm happy to help if any kind.
Yeah.
Luckily, I've already run the 10-man, so I'm only rethinking parts of my list.
Parts of your list. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Plus, I'm running Canis right now, so I mean, you can't take me serious.
Boo. Canis Rex. Boo. No.
Yeah, makes sense. It's also like a dog related. So
Exactly. As I say, I was like, I'm gonna run an ally. I'm gonna run the one who has wolf stuff all over him already.
yeah. I would say like I'm when I see the meta piling up with the with the Black Templar, with the what we learned from WTC, also with the MFM. I think the Death Guard is still going to be there, more infantry than mechanized. I think IK is going to turn down. I think CK is going to stay there, but not dominant. And also, people will want to move on to something else. We have Votan coming.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think the Space Wolf still has a thing to a place to perform, but in my opinion, it will have to diversify. It will have to play on its strengths, like the multiple small unit and the specialized unit. I would say cavalry, wolf and axe mainly. Bjorn, very interesting, and of course Logan, because Logan is a vect that is quite cheap and has a lot of tactical value. Ragnar is a beast, so don't get Ragnar out of the list. So you need Ragnar, you need Logan, you need Bjorn, you need a lieutenant combi weapon, because it's the bread and butter of Space Marines. Same goes for the intercessors, that's T-Cops, the backlane, and then you can push to a lot of direction. You can try to get new old tech that we haven't seen for a while, like inceptors to get
Oh,
movement and get the shooting. You
yeah.
can also base your shooting on artillery. So as I said, you could just have your your ballistas, or if you think it's going to be more infantry, you could bring back um, uh, some gladiator anti-infantry. I can't
Oh,
remember the name.
Reapers, Gladiator Reapers.
Reapers,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
That is up to you and how you feel the meta. I think the meta is going to shift a bit from mechanized or
To
heavily
infantry.
mechanized today to infantry.
Right.
This is how it's not. It's an educated guess. And remember, I'm not a specialist from single tournament. So
Right. Yeah. Well,
And
regardless, yeah.
if
Go
they,
ahead.
as someone who plays lots of Marines, where do you think Wolves rank in the list of Marines?
I would say quite high at the moment. I think the Black Templar is gonna be fancy by a lot of player
Mhm.
now, because
Right.
last year I've played them as a horde without horde tool. It was not obvious. This one, this time it is obvious. Like D6+2 surge, uh, and crit 5 sustain lethal
Reroll
baseline.
hits, all the that
Yeah, plus
crazy.
1/2 wound in build. So this is gonna be quite obvious and also very pleasant to play. So the one that would have like the collection, they will play it, and it will be dominant.
Yeah.
Uh, I would say Space Wolf comes right after because they have all the tool, the power creep of the two last year I've brought. So I like it, and they are pretty. They play Warhammer very well, and they have their own strengths. Like I said, the cavalry, the Wolfens, Bjorn, that is one of the only CP farmer in Space Marine. You only have like what, like Azrael and Ultramarine, so
Hmm.
Calgar, and that's it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is a strength. I would say let's wait for all the new detachment to air. We are, I think the Salamander has heard already.
Yep.
I love it. I've been using it in the first WCW. I was playing Black Templar in Flamestorm. At this one, it was very efficient, and I was already loving it. So, of course, I love this one. I think Salamander are pretty high because also because of their own strengths. Like Adrax Agathon is a beast. Flamers are really working. I'm waiting for the Imperial Fist and the Raven
The
Guard
other detachments to
to
drop
air.
and everything.
Um, they might be interesting, but I don't see them uh, getting over the Black Templar at the moment, because Black
Ooh.
Templar, same thing. You can play native Black Templar detachment. You have two of them that are really nice, like the Horde, the first one to the Horde one, and also the I would say the one that is more for the Sword Brethren, allowing you up and down into vehicles and bring a lot of movement tricks. But basically, you can also just play them intact in Gladius or Stormlands, and then you have an AOC, and then you have a reactive move.
Yep.
Reactive move when you search D6
It's crazy.
is
Yes.
crazy. So you engage something that is not able to flee, and then you fall back, you follow, and then you just have to roll a 1 to get your surge.
Yeah.
And
And then
or
we do
that
that as
is
simple players. Yeah.
and it's even worse, because also it means, so that is if you engage the opponent, but if the opponent is just trying to get close to you, and then he enters your 9 inch, so he's less than 8, then that is 9, so 8, then you move 6 towards him, then you are 2 point something, but you roll at least 3 for a surge. So anything that enters the 9 is going to be auto surging at the first activation.
Yeah.
So this is very powerful and
Scary.
very dominant, and also quite not depending on or layout agnostic. So you are able to accept kind of a high shooting attrition power because you know you're gonna. So attrition power is gonna give you movement speed at any time, and then you're gonna have agency to retaliate the turn after.
Yeah. Some of the matchups I've struggled the most with have been very melee heavy infantry, like World Eaters, Blood Angels, Liberator Assault Group. It sounds like Black Templar is going to be extremely powerful melee, very fast.
Yeah.
What do you think Space Wolves have as far as tools go to deal with really aggressive melee armies? Because that's been something I've struggled with.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised of that because that is also why the Space Wolves are so pleasant to play. They are quite hybrid unit or army. You will have nice shooting, or you had because now. But you will have like, as I said, a nice multiple small units. So every unit is in a mission, and they go alone, lone wolf. So they're not depending on the friends. So small units, very efficient, very deadly on their own, but they're not like meant to fight a phalanged war. And when someone is imposing that to you, it is gonna be hard, man. So the only when I was playing against a tanker that was playing the Berserker list in France,
right?
The only strategy I had was like sacrificing the vehicle to force him to engage the vehicle.
Okay.
Because the vehicle will have no other utility. You will not shoot in this game. So you will like use the body instead of the cannon to force the unit to charge the wall of hull, and then you will have agency to the heroic intervene or charge on your turn. So you make sure your attrition is used before being crippled, and as you would not shoot, you don't care about the cannon, so you use the body. And you aim for small lose, and you defend your objective.
Wow.
That is it.
Wow.
So you settle for a lose turn one.
Lead with the tanks.
If you try to play for a win, you're gonna get flipped.
Wow.
Yep. And if you want to win because you were a solo player, your only salute resides in depolarizing, so trying to play where he's not. So outspeeding him on the flank or up and down if you're playing Beast Slayer, or if you have like resources to deep strike, like I've said in Scepters, but you can have like regular deep strike. That is your only way to win, like trying to get his home objective if it's getting any points, because this kind of list doesn't turn around.
Right. It's only one direction.
That is true. So if at some points you get behind him, you're gonna have a lot of value out of this position.
Yeah.
This is the only way. And you cannot win without a mistake. So you turtle, like you cut your losses and you wait for the mistake to happen, and then you capitalize on that.
Yeah.
That is the only way to win.
Yep. That makes sense. Olivier, I'd like to pick your brain for 10 hours straight. This is fascinating.
Yeah, I'm drinking a bit to be able to keep on if you need.
Yeah, and I was getting close to midnight over there for him.
Yeah.
That is true. My girlfriend is certainly gonna come back at some point. So
yeah. Well, that being said, we don't want to keep you too late. I know it's midnight over there. Matt, do you have any like closing questions or lingering things you want to talk about?
No, I think we touched on almost everything you and I wanted to get into.
Yeah.
Any last things you want to add, Olivier, or anything? Last question from chat before we get out of here?
Yeah, I must say I always make room for the community to share and showcase Warhammer. So anytime, I've seen there's a French in the chat. So hello Thibaut, so as I said, I will always make room for sharing with the community. There's no point pushing tall soldiers alone, even if it's at the best level. So sharing the communities is always going to be part and the best part of it. So don't hesitate to ask me if I perform in Space Wolf sometimes in next year or on the following year. Don't hesitate.
Awesome. That's amazing. We are so grateful to have you, Olivier. And congrats again.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you guys, and we will catch you next time.
Cheers.
Bye.
Thank you for watching Almost Functional Gaming. We appreciate the support of all followers of Russ and the Allfather. Please like, share, and subscribe. Also, check out our merch store and Almost Functional Score Tracker on Amazon. Everything helps support the growth of this channel, and we appreciate it.